Hi, welcome to Maths by Miss B. Today's lesson is going to be on BIDMAS, Order of Operations. It's just the introduction to it initially. We will be delving further into it as we go through more videos. So, order of operations is the order we do calculations. Okay, now I'm sure you've come across BIDMAS before. Some people call it BODMAS, others call it BIDMAS, and I think it's PEDMAS in US. It's the order that you do calculations in. So, for example, let's just try this one. If I've got something like 3 times 2, well, let me start that one again, not the 2, let me add this time. 3 plus 2 times this by 4. Now, if you can work that out in your head, think about what the answer is and keep it in your head. Now, I can see perhaps a couple of different people coming up with two answers, two different types of answers. One person perhaps might say 3 plus 2 first, go through that first, and then times it by 4. So 3 times 2 is 5, times 4 is 20. And the other person might say, well, I'm going to do the 2 times 4 first, which gives you 8, and then add the 3 gives 11. So we've got two answers here. Now the question is, which is the correct one? And that's where this BIDMAS comes in. BIDMAS is the order that you do these calculations in. The B in BIDMAS stands for brackets. You always look at the calculations and decide, well, do we have any brackets? If we do, let's just do what's inside the brackets first. Then you look for indices. Indices are like powers, like 3 to the power of 4, 4 to the power of 5. Okay, powers. D stands for division. So you look for brackets first, then you look for indices, then you can look for division, you can look for multiplication next. Next one's going to be, let me just slide this up. Multiplication, addition, and then we've got subtraction. Okay, now these are the orders, or the order that you do the calculation in. So which is the correct answer in this one? So if we go back to this question again, this one here, do we have any brackets? There's no brackets. Are there any indices? No, there aren't any indices. What about division? There's no division, but there is multiplication and there is addition. Well, in this case, multiplication goes before addition. So that's the calculation you need to do first. So you do the 2 times 4 and you get 8, and then you go back and you start from the left hand side, you do 3 plus 8 and the answer is 11. So this would be the correct answer and that was the incorrect one. Okay, so in the same way, let's just have a look at the next example. What if I've got 12 plus 3, but this one's in brackets this time, and we're going to divide it by 5. So going back to our original list of the order of operations, what do we do first? Check, are there any brackets? Yes, they are, but inside the brackets I know there's addition, and you might say, well, addition goes later on, further down the line from division, but no, whatever's inside the brackets, you do that first. So do the first calculation. Okay, so 12 plus 3 is 15, and then you go on to share it by 5, so the answer is 3. Okay, so that's my first example. Second example for this, what if you have 4 shared by 2 plus 5 take away 2. Okay, so let's just go back to our list. Okay, there's division, there's addition, and there's subtraction. Okay, so I've just ticked the wrong one here. I wonder if anybody noticed. Okay, there's division, there's addition, and then there's subtraction. So clearly division is going to go first. So take care of this bit first. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. And then copy everything else out. Get in the habit of writing your calculations down, show what you're doing. Next, you've got addition and subtraction. You can just work your way from left to right on that one. So you've got 2 plus 5 is 7, 7 take away 2, and the answer is 5. Okay. Now, just going back to this BIDMAS that we've written on the top right-hand side there. One thing I need to make clear, so when you look at brackets, that's clear enough. You see brackets, you do that first, and you see indices, you do that second. Now, when it comes to multiplication and division, if you've got multiplication and division happening in the same calculation, it doesn't really matter which order you do them in. Okay, just because division comes first or before multiplication on the list, that you don't need to do that first. I always say work from the left hand side and work your way through to the right, and then take it from there. Same as addition and subtraction. So those go together really. So if I was ordering these, I would say brackets, you look at those first. You look at indices second. Then you look for any division or multiplication third. And the last thing you look for is addition and subtraction. So that's clearly the order that you must take. Okay, next example, number 3. Just squeeze it in here. Let's have a look at this one. So here's a good one. So 5 times 12 divided by 4, or should I say bracket 12 divided by 4. So again, we need to look at our list and we decide that brackets go first. So we'll do what's inside the brackets, but keep everything else the same. So 12 divided by 4 is 3. Go back to the left-hand side and say 5 times 3. The answer is 15. Okay. Right, number 4. Let's do 3 squared plus 4 times 2. So let me just write out BIDMAS as a reminder here. Okay, so there's no brackets, but they are indices. So we need to do the indices first, and then we take care of the rest. So let's have a look. So let's just do that one first. 3 squared is 9. Now don't forget, 3 squared means 3 times 3, and 3 times 3 is 9. Okay, so 3 squared is 9. Keep everything else as it is. Okay, don't switch the numbers over, it will give you a different answer to your calculation then. And then say, well, we've got addition and we've got multiplication, but multiplication goes before the addition. Okay, so we need to do the 4 times 2 first, which is 8, and then you do the 9 plus the 8. The answer is 17. Okay, let's just keep going. Let's just look at some different scenarios. What about this one then? If you've got 6 squared, you've got plus 2 times 4 squared. Okay, going back to BIDMAS, there's no brackets, but they are indices. But there's 2 sets of indices here, so let's sort those out first, keeping everything else in place, and don't do any other calculations. So 6 squared. 6 squared is 6 times 6, which is 36. The 4 squared is 4 times 4, which is 16. So 6 squared, got 36 there, and we've got 16. Everything else in between stays the same. And then you look at your calculation and say, well, we've got addition, we've got multiplication again. Multiplication is going to go before the addition. So let's just do 2 times 16 first, which is 32. So go back to the beginning, you've got 36, which is already there in the calculation. 36 plus the 32, and the answer would be 68. Okay, right. I think that's it for now. Let me just see if I can just squeeze in one more maybe. Okay. Or perhaps if you could try this one. Pause the video, have a go at it, and then check to see if you've got the right answer. So I've written the calculation out, copy that out onto a piece of paper, and then come back to it. Okay, thank you. Welcome back. So let's have a look. There's no brackets, but they are indices. So that's the bit I need to do first. Everything else remains in place. Don't do any of the calculations. 3 squared, as you know, is 3 times 3, which is 9. So now we've got addition, we've got multiplication, and we've got subtraction. Okay. BIDMAS. So there's no brackets. We've dealt with the indices. We also have multiplication, we have addition, and we have subtraction. Okay, so we've dealt with that one. The next thing we need to do is the multiplication. So let's just do this bit first. Keep everything else in its place. Okay, so 9 times 6 is 54. And then you want to go back to the beginning and do 25 plus the 54, take away the 4 is 75, if I've got this right. Okay, that's it. I hope this helps. It's always a good idea to go back and have another go at these questions. Watch it at your leisure. Pause the video, have a go at the questions, and then check the answers. Remember, with maths, to learn maths, you have to do the maths, so please keep up the practice. Okay, thank you. See you in the next video.